Youth, elderly, and persons with disabilities. It's time to choose our leaders. Let's show up and participate in the Special Interest Group elections. Starting June through August this year. Your vote, your voice. My vote, my voice. This message is brought to you by the Uganda Electoral Commission.
Hello there and welcome to our second and final edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. This Monday, the 7th day of July 2025. First though, let's have a look at what's making headlines at this hour.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
In our top stories tonight, President Yoweri Museveni starts parish development model tours in Wakiso district. President Museveni hails level of preparedness as Africa Rugby Cup starts Tuesday, July the 8th. National Identification Registration Authority announces start of mass registration of learners. And 4 family members killed 10 kilometers along Bomba Road as Sino-truck rams into family house.
Brought to you by
Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcasting House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language it is Senyomo Yusuf and Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Now President Yoweri Museveni has said that poor service delivery in Kampala Metropolitan is a result of voters who are hoodwinked by opposition politicians who failed to lobby for their communities. He was addressing Metropolitan Ghetto youth during a rally at Wampeu, Kasangati Town Council in Wakiso District as he concluded the first day of Wakiso District Wealth Creation Tour. Mr. Museveni kicked off the Wealth Creation Tour with meeting 15 groups of metal fabricators and carpenters in Kawanda before meeting Luze Isaac, one of the parish development beneficiary resident of Migade in Gombe Town Council. Take a watch.
Tukwebaza His Excellency kubanga ng'ennaku z'omwezi 3 mwezi ogw'omukaaga omwaka oguwedde sako ze watukolera wazituteeramu obukadde 10.
Kati sente zino nakolamu boutique era nesuubula n'engato Mr. President naye nga twagala otongerere ddala sente.
Kulembeze be bannaffe bali bonna abali emabega abazze okwaniriza. Tuli basanyufu olw'okuwulira omulanga gwaffe n'ojja n'otukyalira n'olaba gye tuli.
Your Excellency, Mama Senindo obwedde wano era abadde ayagala kuwuubirako
olw'okwongera okubangulwa.
Naye in the Kalulu,
naye mu kiseera ekyakalulu
please you chase away these opposition people.
Mufube okulaba nga mugoba bano abatawagira gavumenti.
Kubanga abaana abo bananfuusi banye kigwanizi babeta bakigwanizi
bannakigwanyizi
tebabafaako kubanga bebandi badde kati wano Mutenda Damulira nekuteesa kati awo ekibuuzo wekigira awo ekibuuzo kiri nti Damulira okujja eno okubanoonya abaka bamwe ba palamenti bali bakola ki kubanga bali mu palamenti enteekateeka za gavumenti bazimanyi naye bafuna misaala emisaala gya gavumenti tebagizira naye enkola ya gavumenti tebagyogerako tebabanja byamwe tebalondora esente nezijja nebazibira mu kkubo tebafaayo kati abo mulonda baaki kati awo fe abaganda b'omu Lukoola tulina engero zaffe wali olugero olugamba nti omuggo oguli ku muliraano teggobango ndi mu gavumenti mbawagira naye ndiwalako kyetaaga omubaka wammwe oba wano kumpi omuggo oguli mu nnyumba gwe gusobola okugoba engwe kubanga guli kumpi mulonde ababaka ababafaako kati geto zino okufuna ebizibu gwali musango gw'abantu okubawubya kubanga mumaze emyaka nga 30 muri ba opposition Sebagala simanyi baani Sebaana Kizito mwera mwabo kati mulese Bobi Wine abo bonna tebabafaako n'olwekyo njagala okubasaba nti ku luno mwenunule mununule ekitundu kyammwe mufune obukulembeze obubafaako
n'abavubuka abalabye omusana. Museveni oye! Abavubuka muwage Museveni oye!
President Yoweri Museveni addressing the youth in Wampewo, that is in the district where he started his PDM tours earlier today. Meanwhile, President Yoweri Museveni has welcomed the top rugby officials to Uganda, reaffirming the country's readiness to host the 2025 Rugby Africa Cup, a key qualifier for the Rugby World Cup. Meeting the president at State Lodge in Kasese, where Rugby Africa President Herbert Mensah, accompanied by senior officials from the continental and global rugby bodies. We have more in this story.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has praised rugby as a sport rooted in discipline, unity and strength, values he said are vital for national development.
Rugby is like football, some of the other sports are sort of individual excellence, but some are, you can see you can only succeed if you work as a team. And rugby is one of those that must be, that needs collective effort.
He also thanked Rugby Africa for including Uganda on the ongoing Web LS Rugby World Cup Trophy Tour and noted the significance of Uganda hosting this year's Rugby Africa Cup. Responding to compliments about Uganda's facilities, President Museveni said the country is just getting started.
I'm surprised to hear you praising us that we have developed the infrastructure. We haven't done much yet. The only thing you have done is just peace, because Uganda had collapsed. Uganda had become a failed state.
The president also reflected on sports' global impact, calling it a force for unity, especially in today's divided world.
We are very active members of the Commonwealth. And I've been telling, when I met Her Majesty, the first time I met her in 1987, I told her that, Your Majesty, the Commonwealth is maybe the only meeting, the only international meeting where I attend and I don't have to have earphones for translation. So therefore, all these mechanisms to bring these 2.5 billion people together is very important.
He shared a personal touch, recalling his own sporting past.
Me, I was a footballer, a cricketer, but I watched those rugby people. They were there. So I'm glad our daughters are doing very well. Where are those tough girls?
President Museveni also paid tribute to Uganda's women athletes, saying they've carried the national flag with honor. Rugby Africa President Herbert Mensah commended the president for his commitment to youth and sports, describing Uganda as a rising force on the continent.
Your Excellency, I'd like to thank you for the extraordinary investment you've made in the greatest game on earth, rugby, the principles of which define, I think, life in general. Uganda, under your leadership, have become the champions of the sevens game at the AU Games in Ghana, the inaugural games where rugby was introduced for the first time.
He cited peace, infrastructure, and leadership as key reasons Uganda was chosen to host the 2025 Rugby Africa Cup. Also speaking was Dr. Jonathan Webb, Vice Chair of World Rugby, who said Uganda has shown its readiness to be part of the global rugby conversation.
And on behalf of World Rugby, we are absolutely committed to work with you to develop that, to grow the game, to demonstrate to people what rugby can do to lives, to individual lives, to communities, and to whole countries.
Minister of State for Sports, Honel Peter Ogwang, said the tournament will be a milestone for Uganda's sporting profile and youth engagement.
The hosting this international sports event will not only inspire the youth, but also beneficial to bring in more visitors to Uganda through sports.
Ngabo Amon, reporting for UBS TV.
To other news now, and youth at parish level and wards have been voting their leaders across the country. The Electoral Commission has confirmed that the youth leadership elections at the parish level were conducted successfully. UBC visited several locations where the elections took place.
In Mukono district, by 9 a.m., election materials had already arrived at the polling center where youth leaders were to be elected. The polling positions included that of chairperson, vice chairperson, secretary, information officer, treasurer, secretary officer. At the conclusion of the elections, the National Resistance Movement dominated most of the positions in the 4 parishes that make up Mukono municipality. NRM secured 3.
Nangirira Malichoni, Brian, Antonius, chairperson, Omulonde.
Party members attributed this success to the president's grassroots development initiatives targeting youth empowerment.
Today they have realized that those programs which they have used to drive their lives, to change their youth livelihood, it's those programs that have enabled us to win this youth election.
Brian Antonius, I'm the chairperson. I'm the elected chairperson in Sobeka Uga Ward.
In Kampala City, by around 7:30 a.m., youth eligible to participate in the elections had already started arriving at various polling stations. At Bira Primary School, voters arrived at voting place by 7 a.m., only to be informed the election had ended.
On that note, I would like to implore the Electoral Commission to move along with us in guidance and in the conduct of duties, such that we can have a successful election.
And I found that one side, which is named to be of the NRM, they had already organized themselves and they had finished up the elections.
The staff of the Commission have guidelines that have been provided on how the vote was supposed to be undertaken.
As a result, there was some commotion and the election had to be reconducted amidst tight security. However, some participants claimed that the register was not properly followed and that certain candidates were excluded. In PG District, In PG District, the elections were marred by chaos after youth affiliated with the National Unity Platform in some areas boycotted the vote, accusing NRM of rigging. In several places, NUP youth arrived at the polling stations only to find the elections had already ended. They told UBC and expressed shock at how an election scheduled to take place during the day had instead been conducted at night, calling it an abuse of power. The Electoral Commission spokesperson Julius Muchunguzi confirmed that the elections went smoothly in most of the places.
The reports we've received so far from across the country at the closure of the polling today has been very positive, has been very impressive.
The elections of youth leaders at parish levels were conducted in over 10,000 parishes. Cayenne Faith, Andrew Sebida for UBC.
Member of Parliament for Buikwe South constituency, Dr. Michael Philip Lulume Baiga, has joined the People's Front for Freedom Party based at Katonga. Lulume, formerly of the Democratic Party, was accompanied by fellow members of the former Democratic Party as he joined the PFF.
Politician who began his political journey with the Uganda Young Democrats, UYD, alongside other youthful colleagues, including Michael Mabike, Salongo Elias Lukwago and Sam Walter Lubega Mukaku. They were part of a vibrant generation of activists who seemed resilient and determined. Baiga and colleagues later joined the Democratic Party, DP, where he served as acting Secretary General from 2007 to 2010. He remained a prominent figure within the party. Lulume, the Member of Parliament for Buikwe South constituency, has defected from DP to PFF.
Bonds us together. Make no mistake. What bonds us together is not political expedience, but a shared vision to deliver our motherland from the doldrums where it has been plunged.
You've been watching us, the coming, and more will be coming.
That you have found the right platform that is going to give Uganda a voice and a choice.
Who want to cause change in our country, system change, not remove Museveni per se, but to fight for freedom and to cause a change which will benefit every Ugandan.
Baiga, in his maiden speech, said DP has lost its political mandate and settled for less.
Or you would decide to join other forces, progressive forces, and fight on for the rights of the Ugandans that need a country that is free and a country that works for everyone. And we are making a courageous and bold decision to get out of the party for which we have worked for the last 30 years, to come and join hands with progressive people in a new party called PFF with the colleagues that we know.
Midway his speech, he asked PFF supporters to mimic the party's songs, which he said had messages that resonate to their agenda.
Songs which I have heard, those songs which welcomed me here. Never, never, never surrender.
Earlier in the morning, PFF's spokesperson Ibrahim Semujunganda announced the party's convention slated for Tuesday at Katonga.
Tomorrow, July 8th, the PFF will have its first convention, commonly known as the Delegates Conference.
Semuju further assured the supporters of PFF that retired Dr. Kizza Besigye, who is remanded at Luzira prisons, will be the keynote speaker.
As indicated earlier, we'll have Dr. Besigye speak to the delegates, but also speak to the country. He's still in Luzira.
The delegates conference comes after the party was officially issued a certificate of registration on 5th June 2025, and by press time, all preparations were underway for tomorrow's convention.
Still talking opposition politics, the National Unity Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu has officially launched a major fundraising campaign to support the party's activities ahead of future political engagements. The event at the party headquarters in Makerere Kavle attracted leaders and supporters from across the country. We have more in this story.
Members of the National Unity Platform, including party leaders, members of parliament, mayors, aspiring candidates and grassroots supporters converged to the NUP headquarters in Makerere Kavle for the launch of the nationwide fundraising drive.
Tugenda kola ebintu insha Allah mukama wange newankubadde waliwo ebintu alakantindigwa naye sigenda kuva ku miliyoni 10 mukama wange.
While unveiling the fundraising campaign, the party president Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu emphasized strengthening the party's operations.
Recently, we realized that we did not have enough money, and yet we were very close to the election. As a National Unity Platform, come to you because we always look back to you, the people. We are launching a fundraising drive to help us go comfortably, facilitated into the 2026 protest vote.
Kyagulanyi inaugurated a dedicated fundraising booth at the party headquarters and personally contributed a check worth 10 million shillings. He also inaugurated a special fundraising committee chaired by Honorable Ronald Balimwezo to oversee the initiative.
I hereby introduce a fundraising committee to you. That fundraising committee is going to be headed by none other than Honorable Engineer Ronald Balimwezo Nsubuga. And I also will launch the fundraising drive with 10 million shillings on behalf of me and my family.
The fundraising committee chairperson, Ronald Balimwezo, pledged to be transparent.
The team that has been named today accept this appointment with full awareness of what is at stake. Our future, our freedom, our destiny.
Leader of opposition Joel Senyonyi paid 10 million shillings in cash and pledged an additional 10 million.
Ntambudde ne milioni 10 kawefubono.
Era sebo Your Excellency olw'okuba emmwanyi yagudde nange ngenda kola pledge ya millions 10 ze ngenda okuleeta wano.
Other leaders including the aspiring Mityana North MP Isaac Tomusange and Kawempe Mayor Emmanuel Serunjoji also contributed.
Thank the President, my President, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, upon his wise decision to come up with a fundraising function like this, whereby we manage to raise money which can support our colleagues.
To the President and the entire executive for having accepted to give us chance to contribute towards the development of our party.
Kawanguzi Paul, Jamil Sekaja, UBC.
The Forum for Democratic Change, FDC party spokesperson John Chikonyogo has told the media that the structures of the FDC party cannot be watered down. He was responding to the People's Front for Freedom, which he accused of witch hunt. He advised the PPF to concentrate on the agenda for change.
Last week, the People's Front for Freedom and the Alliance for National Transformation signed an agreement to work together in the forthcoming general elections. The move has since caused mixed reactions as many political actors look at it as a means to silence the FDC. The FDC spokesperson, John Chikonyogo, has lashed out at the Katonga-based People's Front for Freedom party over the allegations.
If someone had eaten money in FDC and you seriously want to remove Museveni, you seriously want to remove Museveni, what do? Come in the party, organize in the party, remove that man who is wrong. And then you tell the country you are going to fight to President Museveni? Are you serious?
Chikonyogo says the group left FDC after failing to agree with the leadership of party president Patrick Amriatoboy and Secretary General Nandala Mafabi.
I pity my brother, my senior, Billy now. He went there, he thought he was dealing with the people he understands, but we wait for tomorrow. If Billy becomes the head of PPF, Because when he left here with the highest ranking, he was the chairman, and they formed their party, PPF. But now it has come to the level of eating. You are going to see.
FDC further made remarks on the alliance between People's Front for Freedom and Alliance for National Transformation Opposition Party.
But now you go to Katonga today. The extreme of the activists who are in defiance then are in Katonga. If you tell us what made you leave Najana Nkumi was defiance against strategy, whatever, structures. Now you got the people who are extreme then.
Meanwhile, FDC Electoral Commission Party Chairman Boniface Toterebuka says the party has nominated candidates on various positions across the country.
The party nominated the candidates as follows: Members of Parliament 220, LC 5 chairpersons 42, municipality mayors 25, LC 3 chairpersons 480, LC 5 councillors 601, municipality councillors 828.
However, the party is also concerned about the deliberate silence of EC chairperson Justice Wiabakama over the compulsory verification of academic documents for candidates who wish to contest as president, MP, and LC5.
If Electoral Commission does not withdraw that statement, then the party will have to go to court and seek remedy.
Reporting for ABC TV, Helen Barbara and Joseph Golola.
To Kasese district now, where former Minister for Defense Dr. Crispus Chionga, one of the senior National Resistance Movement cadres in Kasese district, has commenced his campaign trail to solicit for votes to retain his NRM flag for the Member of Parliament, Bukonzo County West. Chionga's campaigns, which attracted NRM supporters, started in Nyakyumbu sub-county, where he conducted 3 public rallies.
Chionga's supporters have pledged to give him full support, expressing optimism that they will benefit a lot during his tenure.
I'm really very privileged to see that Dr. Crispus Chionga, our senior elder, our senior leader, historical in NRM, that he has come back this time around to see that he serves the people of the Bukonzo West constituency, Nyakyumbu sub-county inclusive. The last 10 years, we have not been with him in the leadership of this constituency as our MP. As a local person and a community member, we have lost a lot.
While addressing the NRM supporters, Dr. Crispus Chionga requested them to rally behind him for good economic transformation. Dr. Crispus Chionga, who is well known for his slogan, New Money and Food Security, will be facing the State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, and Wangalema Milton in the NRM primaries for the parliamentary seat for Bukonzo County West.
In his era, as community members, him being a senior cadre of NRM, is the one who has been telling us about the good deeds of His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni, because they worked together, they came together, and we as community members, we embraced his message. We picked President Museveni, and the good things they have done for us, we are really very happy.
Joseph Chigozi Gorola, Adia Nakuti, UBC News.
Remain in Kasese momentarily, and as the NRM candidates in Kasese district continue to reach out to their supporters soliciting for votes, they have promised to work on poor roads and bridges that usually get destroyed during the flooding of rivers, especially River Nyamwamba and Mubuko.
According to Dr. Manderud, who is vying for the parliamentary seat for Bukonzo County East, promised to work closely with the central government to work on affected infrastructures.
In this same area we are in, across is a footbridge that the community asked me to support, which we have just repaired. But these are resources that when we lobby from the center, under the role of Member of Parliament of Appropriation and Budgeting, to ensure that the district receives more resources, definitely these resources will come.
He also told the NRM supporters that the cultural sites rehabilitation would attract tourists who can bring in revenue.
When I get to Parliament, I intend to lobby firstly, to have the village health team members to be placed on government payroll. Secondly, to advocate for a medical kit for each and every village in this country. I know it's very possible. I have been telling our electorates that I have a vision of advocating for the development of the Obsingawarenzururu cultural heritage centers. These include, there's a site in Kagando which requires a museum to be constructed where the three heroes were buried. There is another site which is a playground called Kahindangoma. That is a place where all the functions of the Obsingawarenzururu use it to be performed.
Sarah Mulembe Kabejesa also requested the electorate to try her and lobby government to empower school dropouts in areas of hands-on skills.
Our girls are out of school, and how can we motivate them? I'm planning to lobby for my people more. If the government can increase on the number of girls entering into hubs. For example, we have a Mubuku presidential hub. If we can increase on the number, because in a year we take over 1,000 and 1,200 students. So if it can be increased so that all the 10 sub-counties can benefit.
Kawanguzi Paul, Mutabali Moses, UBC.
And News Tonight now takes a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
Living Legends and MTN presents one of Uganda's greatest entertainers. Mama Halima Namakula, celebrating 50 years in the creative arts and 25 years in philanthropy. Get ready for an unforgettable night with special and magical moments at the Kampala Serena Hotel, happening on the 26th of July. Tickets available on Momo at 150k VIP and 3 million for a table. Dial star 165 star 20 hash to get your ticket. The Living Legends Gala is powered by and MTN. Together, we're unstoppable. Uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
You got us on your wallet. Bobby, again! What's this drama?
Drama? Colleagues, elections for special interest groups are calling. SIGs, elections, youth, PWDs, elderly. It's time to vote for our leaders, June through August. From village to parish to district to nationals, youth, PWDs, elderly. It's time, go vote your leaders. No! F-O-B! Elections are supposed to be peaceful. Easy vote, okay?
Youth, elderly,
and persons with disabilities. It's time to choose our leaders. Let's show up and participate in the Special Interest Group elections. Starting June through August this year. Your vote, your voice. My vote, my voice. This message is brought to you by the Uganda Electoral Commission.
It's a FlexiPay cashback explosion. Shop and pay with your FlexiPay. Cashback instant. It's a FlexiPay cashback explosion.
It's a FlexiPay cashback explosion. Simply shop and pay with your FlexiPay at activating outlets and enjoy instant cashbacks. Terms and conditions apply. Stanbic Bank is regulated by the Bank of Uganda, and customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund up to 10 million Uganda shillings.
Back, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. We begin this segment with some rather bad news, where 4 people have died on the spot after a Sino truck registration number UBE617K lost control and rammed into a house, killing 4 family members. The incident happened at Jinja Karoli, 6 miles along Kampala Bombo Road. According to onlookers at the scene of the accident, the Sino truck carrying soil was coming from Jinja Karoli to connect to Bombo Road. Take a watch.
At least 4 people, all family members, died on the spot after a Sino truck carrying Maram rammed into a house at 6 miles on Bombo Road. According to the onlookers at the scene of the accident, the truck registration number UBE617 was coming from Jinja Karoli, connecting to the main road when its brakes failed. It rammed into the house, killing the mother, only known as Adija, and her 3 children, with one of 4 years. By press, the police together with the communities were still searching for bodies, as also well-wishers were offloading the truck for easy search. Police said will continue with its investigations with help of the police cameras. Joseph Chigozi Golola, Salongo Kasibante for UBC News. According to the onlookers at the scene of the accident, the truck registration number UBE617 was coming from Jinja Karoli, connecting to the main road when its brakes failed. It rammed into the house, killing the mother, only known as Adija, and her 3 children, with one of 4 years.
Very sad story indeed, and may the souls of the deceased rest in eternal peace. Now, several politicians and members of the opposition have had dialogue with the National Resistance Movement, the NRM. But as President Yoweri Museveni secures bid for re-election in the forthcoming 2026 presidential elections, there seems to be a question of political dialogue remaining untagged, as the fruits are yet to be recognized. Our reporter Daniel Mugoya revisits some events that have failed politically to bring unity in Uganda.
An election is not going to bring change. Change is going to be negotiated. And to negotiate, you need a seat at the table.
Dialogue is always an option to achieve results in a given situation. In Uganda's political journey, there have been dialogue to secure a common agenda.
Because talks are not about beauty. It is about your capacity.
President Yoweri Museveni was recently nominated to carry the NRM flag for presidency as the party positions itself for the forthcoming general elections in 2026. The move seems to remain a position of perennial opposition in Uganda if the NRM party wins elections in 2026.
It is an addiction. The people who drink, who smoke, they get addicted. I don't think Museveni thinks that there will be life when he's not a president, yet life will be there.
Suspicious minds question the chances of the opposition also taking power from the NRM government.
It's very easy. If we put our resources and efforts together, it is very easy. When you lose an election in a free and fair environment, you concede. One of the reasons why elections here are not conceded, especially at the level of the president, is because in most cases the ground is not leveled.
The Democratic Party, led by Norbert Mao, agreed to work with the NRM, but this is only if the NRM is the lead driver of the political vehicle.
The most important thing in DP right now is not the cooperation agreement. Because the cooperation agreement is about DP. We must first of all make sure the party is standing and it is strong and it is together.
So why has the dialogue with the NRM government continued to hit a snag?
There is no political will on the side of the ruling government to dialogue. You can't dialogue when many opposition supporters are missing.
But this dialogue of wanting to get space, also a space on the table for eating, is not going to create a nation state.
The discussion of dialogue remains open to the Inter-Party Organization for Dialogue, IPOD, but the resolutions and commitments seem locked in the meeting rooms.
So even when you meet and agree and have commitments, when it comes to actual practice, it is completely different. So that becomes a very big challenge.
So, what is the purpose of the national dialogue?
The question is, why do we go into politics? We go into politics to make a contribution to make Uganda better. If you can make a contribution by joining hands with another political party, there should be no problem.
We can compare our visions. The vision of the NRM is very well stated. What is the vision of the others?
The NRM under President Museveni believes in cohesion. The NRM under President Museveni believes in building consensus. The NRM under President Museveni believes in inclusiveness. The reason why some prominent members of the opposition are serving in NRM government.
The resilience in the opposition parties intensifying respective internal preparations for the next general elections raises question whether the quest is for positions or takeover from the NRM government.
I hereby present myself to hold the flag of the National Unity Platform in the forthcoming 2026 presidential elections.
Some players have formed alliances. First was Matthias Mpuga with the Democratic Alliance, then a political party dubbed the Democratic Front. This could have killed the DA agenda of opposition unity.
Our engagement with the ruling party, we want them to clearly inform the country how they view the transition.
Second were the old students of the FDC and PFF who signed a pact to work together. The ingredients are yet to stand the test of time.
We cannot judge ourselves. We have signed a cooperation agreement. If they think we are the same party, we respect the thinking and commentary of everybody.
The electorate seems to be less concerned with ideology, but rather pragmatic solutions. This also seems to have distorted the quality of leadership in Uganda today.
Because if you want to teach people ideology of your party, then you must have an opportunity to meet them, to engage them. But it's not possible.
These events also pose questions for solutions on the type of government or its performance.
The NRM under President Museveni goes on record as the first party in power in the post-independence history of Uganda to have introduced wealth creation initiatives for the people of Uganda.
Despite the expectations, power remains with the citizens to choose the leadership the country desires.
Because the trust that is normally bestowed on the national resistance movement under the leadership of President Museveni is a trust that is anchored on what His Excellency the President has been able to do.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Daniel Mugoya, thank you so much for that story there. The National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA, is concerned over the fast low turn-up for national ID registrations. Since the exercise began on May 27, 2025, only 5.3 million ID renewals have been recorded. They attribute it to many learners in school who are yet to be registered.
Despite registration being free, few Ugandans have turned up, most opting only for ID renewals.
By the time I was coming to address this audience or this press conference, we had managed 5.3 million renewals thus far. That is very commendable. Be it as it may that we're registering these big numbers, we continue to notice that they are inclined to one service, and that is renewal of national IDs. The uptake of that service is paltry. It is heartbreaking. We are seeing lots of people coming, but for singular service. The number of people that are coming to register as fresh are still very little, and so that's why I came with this appeal. Because UBOS told us we are 45 million Ugandans, and 50% of those are children. So if you can hear me on anything, for me the message is register children, register children, register children.
NIRA says it will start registering school-going children and urges an end to the practice of individuals registering on behalf of others, especially when obtaining SIM cards services. Before the end of July, NIRA will launch a mass registration of learners. Those already registered are exempt. Parents must now sign learner declaration forms. Teachers are prohibited to do so. Forms are being dispatched to schools, and for the case of day scholars, they will take the forms home.
Beginning in the next coming weeks, towards the end of July, we are going to take on registration of children in schools. Whereas this was not an envisaged mode of delivery of this project, we have been compelled to take it on for reasons being that that is where children are gathered in an organized manner.
From July 21st, 2025, those wishing to change ID particulars can do so. A fee of Uganda shillings 200,000 applies to changes made due to personal error or preference. Corrections resulting from NIRA's mistakes remain free. Particulars change will be at district only.
We are saying it's now possible to change your name. This service goes live on the 21st day of July 2025. So begin to prepare your deed polls, your statutory declaration, and come out and renew your cards with the amendments.
Production of new IDs is underway, and notifications for collection will be sent in due course. Meanwhile, security agencies have begun arresting suspected NIRA officials accused of soliciting money from applicants during the ID renewal process.
We are doing everything tirelessly with ourselves. NIRA has sanctioned, empowered.
Crispus Adinitwe, UBC News.
And the President of Uganda, led by Hajat Hadija Namyalo, has distributed essential items to residents of Bulambuli and Sironko districts. Now, these items include blankets, spray pumps, tomato seeds and hair clippers to empower the beneficiaries break the cycle of poverty, as we hear in this story.
The President's ongoing uplifting programs, which include startup capital and cash assistance. Cooperatives in Bulambuli have benefited from the program. The head of the presidential office, Hajat Hadija Namyalo, urged the beneficiaries to develop themselves. She added that President Museveni would follow up on the progress, visiting the beneficiaries to ensure they are utilizing their resources.
Kalenga mbasabiriza temukiriza kusabiriza luberera kati nze nali sobola gaana muntu ayagala bajja mu bwavu wa buli honorable gwe bosi wa buli LC chairman gwe bosi wa kubanga gwe ina akalulu nabwe ekityo nze nsooka kutunuulira muntu ataddemu era abantu bano bannaye mubalabiranga ddala.
The Deputy RDC hailed the initiative of providing people with a starting point. Beneficiaries were happy about the intervention.
Bwe n'okulindira eky'obulambuli era kukusuubiza 2026 kulini nawe paka lasti tubonga nawe tubonga nani ne muzeeyi tu.
Elgon County MP Wamakuyu Ignatius Mudimi urged residents to take advantage of government's poverty alleviation programs. The President's office has promised to follow up with beneficiaries to ensure they use the resources effectively.
President Yoweri Museveni has urged the public to desist from all forms of corruption tendencies because it slows down Uganda's development. The message was read by the Prime Minister Robin Nabanja at the 14th Africa Public Service Day held in Kampala. The President urged public servants to support the NRM agenda on free education and ensuring drugs are not stolen in government facilities.
Efficiencies, performance deficit, accountability, corruption and human resource gaps. These can be addressed through increasing participatory budgets and digital accountability.
Aligning budgets with verifiable outputs and transitioning from front-loaded allocations to tranche-based grants. This would simultaneously create a ring-fenced emergency fund.
Represented by the Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, President Museveni urged public servants support pro-people NRM agenda
by ensuring free education for our children in government schools, especially our children from the poor. Drugs are not stolen in our government health facilities, and the correct implementation of wealth creation funds. Please desist from all forms of corruption. Corruption slows down Uganda's development.
The Deputy Head of Public Service, Jane Charisima, said that a centralized digital dashboard that will enable real-time tracking is being made.
Institutional resilience by reinforcing systems of integrity, enhancing transparency in procurement, and taking firm action against corruption, absenteeism, and non-performance. This is being achieved through the institutionalization of a results-based culture underpinned by a robust, enforceable performance management system that promotes accountability and continuous improvement.
The Minister for Public Service, Mulori Mukasa, expressed the need to review their business.
But there's need for all our services to be fully automated and to review our business processes regularly, so that we're always abreast of things. In order to bring everybody on board and to know exactly what is going on, there is also need to strengthen the practice of having barazas regularly.
Once released, starts to send weather data immediately back to the station. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister.
Australian champion, that's Pisita Kazazbeda, showing how.
I'm Nafka Farida in Kololo.
Matters pertaining to health now, and Health Minister, also Lira City Woman Member of Parliament, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, is calling for urgent action to address the rising cases of drug abuse and peer pressure among students. Dr. Acheng was speaking at a patriotism pass out at St. Gracia Secondary School in Lira, during which she called for responsible citizenship.
One, two, Timana. Sika. Hey, the good job, but that way. What's it? Mr. Boss.
I am so excited to be here in Kobalo, Arua. We've gotten our second winner from this place. All he had to do was to download the caller tune. He's a young gentleman. Convincing him that he's the actual winner was actually not easy.
I never believed in calls that could come to me anyhow because I was always a lot of scammers. But later when I confirmed, it was true. And I'm really happy I have received my bag.
All you have to do is dial *170 *12# and download the caller tune. Digida with MTN caller tunes. Owangule.
At UNOC, we believe in safety.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the Rider Selection Campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll free 0800 335 555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. It was a show of Uganda's vast mineral wealth and ambitious energy projects that are aimed at transforming lives across the country. The Commissioner, Mines Department, Agnes Alaba, says the mineral resources drive economic development and industrialization. This was during this year's Africa Public Service Day at Kololo National Independence Grounds.
At the heart of their display was Uganda's rich mineral portfolio, from rare earth elements to gold and oil. The ministry emphasized the role these resources play in driving economic development and industrialization.
We are currently undertaking exploration for the development of these resources to enable us achieve the goal for the country, the vision, the 2040 vision. We have other minerals which are also very critical in the development of the country, what we call critical minerals.
One of the standout presentations was the proposed nuclear power plant, a project that once established promises to boost the country's energy capacity and reduce dependence on non-renewable resources.
Uganda has a number of power plants it's going to do, and at the end of the day, this is a model which we hope to have in Buyende and other places. We have identified about 4 places: Buyende, Nakasongora, Kyukura, and Lamu.
In a push for sustainable living, the ministry also showcased its clean cooking initiative. Through this program, gas cylinders are being distributed nationwide to reduce reliance on biomass.
We also have showcased alternative sources of cooking that can make your cooking cheaper. We have the EPC, that's electronic pressure cooker. We have the gas. We've got also the energy saving stoves. So we are demonstrating all those things that can be of service to Ugandans.
The government is distributing 1 million LPG kits. And so far, I think we are coming to almost 20,000 distributed across the country.
The ministry further highlighted ongoing efforts to extend the national electricity grid to rural areas under the Rural Electrification Program, ensuring no community is left in the dark.
In terms of connections, electricity connections, we are too ambitious. We want by 2030 to have people connected either on the grid or on mini grid. These are solar systems. So we have a project, we call it Scale Up, for just a good name so that people can get used to it. And we are connecting 1 million people on grid free of charge.
From minerals to modern energy solutions, the Ministry of Energy continues to power Uganda's future. Cayenne Faith, Juma Nsamba for UBC.
And some rather good news from Uganda Revenue Authority, where the tax body has surpassed its revenue collection target for the 2024-2025 financial year by a remarkable 263.4 billion shillings, marking a significant achievement in domestic resource mobilization. With a target of 31.369 trillion shillings, many considered it an uphill task. But URA Commissioner General John Musinguzi says the tax body registered a performance rate of 100.84%. Dennis Sigoa reports.
Performance at the URA headquarters in Kampala, John Musinguzi, the Commissioner General URA, attributed the record-breaking collections to improved taxpayer compliance and the continued growth of Uganda's economy.
The net revenue collected in the same financial year, 24-25, was 31,631 billion, achieving a performance of 100.84%, with a gross surplus of 262.43 billion, above target. This resulted into a revenue growth of 15.86%, and in absolute numbers, a growth of 4,330 billion compared to the previous financial year.
During the 2024-2025 financial year, domestic tax collections amounted to Uganda shillings 22.1 trillion, translating to 100.6% of the target and resulting in a surplus of Uganda shillings 131.7 billion shillings. International trade taxes also posted a surplus, outperforming the collections recorded in the previous financial year.
This performance was driven by a stable and resilient economy, by improved administrative measures, but also by a stronger cooperation and contribution from our very patriotic taxpayers.
Looking ahead, Uganda Revenue Authority has set a new revenue target of Uganda shillings 36.7 trillion for the 2025-2026 financial year, an increase of 5.3 trillion shillings from the previous financial year.
The growth in the financial year 2020-21 was 2.5 trillion. The following year, 21-22, was 2.4 trillion. The year that followed, 2020-2023, was 3.5 trillion. Last year had the lowest growth, year-on-year growth, but it was still 2.09 trillion. And this last financial year, 24-25, the growth was 4.33 trillion, the highest growth in the last 5 years.
Dennis Igoa, UBC.
Sports news now, and we're looking at swimming, where Gators Swim Club have won the most prestigious swimming title in Uganda, the Nationals, for the 4th year in succession overcoming 19 other clubs after 5 days of action at the Kampala Parents School in Nakuru. Marshall Miro has more.
20 clubs participated in the 10th edition of the Uganda Aquatics National Championships, which was a delectable medley of swimming splendor. The 5 days of fun-packed action at the Kampala Parents Swimming Pool in Nakuru saw top national swimmers break their personal best times and national records.
I think it's the biggest gala in not only in Uganda but I think in East Africa, at large.
I think swimming in Uganda has really improved a lot, especially because of the fact that we have over 900 swimmers swimming this nationals for over 5 days, which I think is really crazy, thinking about how we just started as a small thing and it was a hobby for a lot of people. But it's really cool to see how swimming has become a lifestyle for not just me, but for all of Uganda. I'm happy that there was change from 15 and over to 17 and over, and as well having so many girls. And I'm here today to actually inspire a lot of girls that they could still swim and stay in the sport and, you know, do academics, do other things out, work, and still be competitively swimming. That's what I came to prove, and I'm happy that it has come to that as well.
For the 4th consecutive time, Gators won the overall trophy with 4,109 points. Dolphins was in second with 3,155 points. Silverfin got 2,993 points in third position, and Jaguar, who finished 7th last year, was 4th with 2,116 points.
I'd like to start by thanking God, because through God is how we achieved this, and I'd like to thank our coaches. They are committed and they are hardworking, in which they motivate us every single day to follow up with our training, and this is what just speaks numbers of how we are performing. And lastly, I'd like to thank the competition. This year, it has been a very tough competition, very interesting competition from various clubs like Aqua Aki, Dolphins, Sailfish, and Silverfin.
One of the things we want to do that we are going to think about is to ensure that we have tiered competitions in different parts of the country, because as you saw, we had huge turn-ups here. We want to have swimming in the northern part of Uganda, in the western part of Uganda, in the eastern, in the central, so that then all that can lead up to the nationals. It's going to take a lot of organization, it's going to take a lot of work, but that's the dream we have.
This championship is a baseline for national team selection ahead of upcoming international events that will include the Africa Aquatics Zone 3 Championship in Kenya this October. Marsha Mira Victor, UBC News.
And that brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Senyamo Yusuf, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night.
The family of Gatare Tom of Kololo with deep sorrow announced the death of their mother, Mokaruego Constance Gatare, that occurred on the 6th of July, 2025. Vigil will be on Monday the 7th of July, 2025, starting at 5 p.m. at home, Plot 8, Nyonyi Gardens, Kololo. Burial will take place on Wednesday the 9th of July,